as you are parenting, as you're going through all this different stuff, don't forget to tell them about what I've done for you. Now, a lot of parents might just go, Jonathan, that's a lot. I mean, that's asking a lot. I work. I'm gone. How can I do morning, afternoon? I mean, what's that look like? I mean, how do I actually do that? Some people might be honest and just say, hey, you know what? I can't. And they're going to leave that void of space. I mean, literally, they'll say, there's those hours. I cannot fill all those hours. Don't worry. Our kids will gladly let something else fill those hours. Somebody else will be glad to step in and fill those hours for parents. And the media is stepping up and doing that. They've decided, hey, we'll be that person. We will go ahead and step in and go ahead and fill that void. As a matter of fact, Kaiser did a report just last year, and the Kaiser Foundation likes to study exactly how much media kids are literally saturating. And they started saying, how much time are they watching TV? Are they online looking at different websites? Are they listening to music? And when they added up the hours of TV, the hours of music, how many hours online, movies, when they added all that up, you know what the average per day was? 7 hours and 38 minutes per day on average. Now, some people might be sitting there going, well, my kid, my grandkid, I don't think they spend that much time in the media. Okay, so let's say they don't. Let's say they only spend 3 hours a day. That means that someone across the country is spending 15, and you know, it all averages out, because the average is 7 hours and 38 minutes of entertainment media a day. By the way, that doesn't even include texting. Yeah. Add that hour and 35 minute a day average into it. You're now looking at over 9 hours a day of looking at screens and entertainment media. That's just the average. Media has its own Torah of sorts, because media has stepped in and said, oh, I will gladly fill your kids' ears as they wake up throughout the day. I would love to give your kids' eyes things to see throughout the day, as they in the evening and as they go to bed at night, in the things they do and in the things they think about. Media gladly fills that void if we let it. As a matter of fact, it's got to the point where Kaiser, in the report, actually all these doctors, and by the way, I'm not quoting some, TV preacher or some religious organization. I'm quoting just this, these doctors at the Kaiser Foundation said, we've got to start paying full attention to anything that takes up this much time in our kids' lives. Kaiser's not the only one doing it. As a matter of fact, on my website just a couple weeks ago, I wrote on thesourceforparents.com, I wrote an article called, right there in the youth culture window section, The Impact of Tech on Teenagers. And in that article, I highlighted a certain report. And this report that I highlighted was from, as a matter of fact, we'll throw it up there, the official Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics. And this particular journal is called Sexuality, Conception, and the Media, was the title of this, and they decided, hey, since kids are absorbing this much media, let's just study, these doctors said, let's study exactly what effect it's having on kids. Because basically, parents are kind of letting the media raise their kids, so let's see what this is doing to kids today. So let me just show you a couple highlights of the report. Matter of fact, in this report, they said that today's media content, more than 75% of primetime programs contain sexual content. Then they went on to say, only 14% of these incidents mention any risks or responsibilities of sexual activity. What's that look like? That basically means that when Charlie Sheen wakes up with yet another girl on his little sitcom there, and they're laughing about it, they never show the consequences. They never show the emotional, the physical consequences that happen from that. It's just all a big fun game. Have recreational sex, no consequences whatsoever. The report also went on to say, and to talk about the fact that talk about sex on TV can occur as often as 8 to 10 times per hour. Then it goes on and says, between 1997 and 2001 alone, the amount of sexual content on TV nearly doubled. See, the fact is, a lot of us, we've been watching TV a long time. Some of us might go, oh, it's always been bad. And it's true. If you take Netflix and you go back and you rent like some old episodes of like Magnum P.I. or something way back from the 80s, you'll actually be surprised. You go, oh, wow, that was racy. There was actually like a racy scene there or whatever. Now take that and compare it to something from today that the kids are watching, like the #1 cable show, Jersey Shore. Take it and compare side by side. That's exactly what these doctors did, and they said just between 97 and 2001 alone, the amount of sexual content nearly doubled. These guys went on to talk about the effects. They said when kids listen to this all the time, when they watch this TV, when they listen to specifically music and the lyrics, they said listening to sexually degrading lyrics is associated with earlier sexual intercourse. In other words, when they're sitting there listening to these songs over and over again that are encouraging them to do it and this kind of stuff, they're sitting there, kids that listen to that stuff, it actually influences them. As a matter of fact, it says exposure to sexual content on TV and other media in early adolescence can as much as double the risk of early sexual intercourse. Then it says early exposure to sexual content doubled the risk of teen pregnancy. And finally they went and they made a generalization. They said, here's something that we've really noticed. A lot of kids just have TVs in their rooms and they just go in whenever they want and they just saturate. They just literally simmer in the content. And they said bedroom TVs are associated with a greater substance use and sexual activity by teens. Again, this is just secular media. This is secular doctors doing a study on media and the effects of teens. The crazy thing is, they're saying this stuff actually, because if you talk to teenagers about this, they'll go, it doesn't affect me. And the doctors are saying, I beg to differ. It affects in a big way, and these doctors are not talking to the teenagers. They're pleading to parents. As a matter of fact, they're pleading to pediatricians to start as part of their well visits and checkups, to start telling, literally, they want pediatricians to say, oh, hey, by the way, open your mouth and say, ah. Okay, what's your temperature here? Let me check your blood pressure. And now let me ask you a question. Do you have a TV in your bedroom? How much time do you spend on the internet each day? How much media? And they're asking doctors to start asking these questions. They're telling doctors to start talking to parents about saying, hey, how much time are you letting your kids spend on the TV? As a matter of fact, they actually gave specific recommendations to parents. Here's their recommendations. They said this, advice to parents, limit screen time to just 2 hours a day. They're saying if your kids are going to sit there and saturate in all this media, keep it to 2 hours a day. Because they noticed that that time was a little less than what most people were doing. And they thought that in their studies, they noticed the kids that were only spending 2 hours or less were doing a lot better. They also said this. They said prohibit media in bedrooms. That was something they just found, that when kids were opening up their laptops and getting online in the bedrooms, when they were... And the thing that's so hard today is kids, they carry it around with them. They've got, the smartphone and everything. They can get online right there. And all this media, they're saying, keep it out of the bedrooms because they're just, they got free roam there in the bedrooms. They also said, co-view media with kids. I was doing this parenting workshop in Texas. And in my workshops, I always show all this media and examples. I say, here's some of the top songs, and here's some of the lyrics that kids are listening to today, and here's the top shows right now. And as I was going through it, this one lady she said, Jonathan, my kids, they listen to all that. They watch all that. She goes, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now? I mean, honestly, she goes, when we finish dinner, we kind of they each take off and they go to their separate rooms, and they each watch all this stuff. I go, what are they watching? She goes, all that stuff that you just showed. She goes, what do I do? I said, well, the first thing you do is don't overreact. I said, people tend to come home and they want to grab a laptop and go, pull computers out of the wall. I said, no, don't do that. I said, don't overreact. Why don't you pray for a week? Just pray and say, what do you want me to do? I said, but also, why don't you take the advice here? Said both Kaiser, American Academy of Pediatrics, all these guys say co-view. Co-view means sit down and watch stuff with your kids. So here's what this might look like at your home. They all run off and go, well, I'm going to go watch TV now. Say, dishes can wait. I'm going to go watch that show with you. What are we watching? Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mom. You're going to watch with us? Yeah, I'm going to watch. What are we watching? I was going to go watch Jersey Shore. All right, cool. I want to meet this Snooki. Let's go. Come on. Let's watch this together. She goes, yeah, my kids, they probably won't do it if I'm sitting there. I said, well, there you go then. So this is amazing. When you look at this is just what the secular doctors are recommending. But when I look down here, I look at a higher calling. I look at not only do we have to be careful about making guidelines, but he's saying, as we get up, as we go through the day, as we go to bed, don't forget to talk about the things that I have done. Make disciples.